I'm Jason Jorgensen. It is once again time for the Loper Football Show. We're joined by head coach Ryan Held. The Lopers coming off that wonderful come from behind victory with the walk-off kick against Missouri Western. Ryan, thanks a lot for the time. What a day. Well, what a day to be a Loper. And after being, you've won, other close games, but that one had to feel pretty good.
Yeah, I did. Our program needed that victory to be able to go on the road, somebody else's homecoming against a good program. And they beat us last year on a walk-off, so we returned the favor this year. But, we were down by 9, didn't look great, but our kids didn't blink, and they kept going. And, then our defense got the stop. We got the ball back. We worked 2-minute drill every week. And it really worked out good. Our guys got out of bounds. I mean, even with a couple drops during that, we still were able to put ourselves in a really good field goal position. And our guys executed there at the end brilliantly.
I love that last drive. Everybody seemed to be on the same page. You really weren't rushing things, and you could really tell that you guys had a good game plan on how you wanted to attack that.
Yeah, and that's why you got to work those scenarios in practice, all the situations. We do it in spring ball, we do it in fall camp. We worked an overtime period last week because you just never know. That could have went into overtime. And so, you just have to try to put your guys in position to where they don't feel pressure because they've worked it. Where guys maybe get out of whack is when you don't work some of those situations and you're in the moment and you start freaking out. Our guys didn't freak out. We had plenty of time with one timeout. That's why you always want to save your timeouts. At least have one that gives you a chance there at the end. And we were able to take it down to 2 seconds, so we didn't have to kick off. And you're either going to get her done or not. I haven't had many of those moments, so crazy enough in my coaching career, where it came down to that kick. And so you're sitting there and some people don't want to watch, and I'm like, well, you got to watch her. And, and sometimes it's hard to tell if it's good or not. But then, they gave the good sign, and obviously we were excited.
Well, I saw all of the guys on the field celebrate before the official gave the signal. So that's how I saw it from my vantage point high up there in the press box.
Yeah, I'm glad they knew it, because they gave the old "she's not good," and that would have been a bad deal. But yeah, our guys. The thing about our guys is we have a lot of, in a good way, emotional kids. They're passionate. They want to win, and they were in that game. And even though we were down, when you go back and look, it's just crazy because, really on paper, we probably shouldn't have won the game. But we've also had games where we should have won and we didn't. So it was nice to get one that we played the full 60 minutes and found a way to get it done on the road.
That 4th and 5 play to Reggie Anderson was huge. Take me back. What was the look you were seeing? Because he was wide open over the middle.
Yeah, we had worked that scenario, that play, and him and Reagan were on the same page. I mean, it was man to man. There was no one in the middle. So, we kind of give that position a chance to kind of break it off one-on-one. And he did. And you could go back and look to some practices last spring and fall camp where we did the same exact thing. So that was him and Reagan were on the same page. Just look at it, Jason. We've beaten 2 teams that we didn't beat last year. We got one more win than we did last year. We're obviously not satisfied, but you just look overall, after 7 games, the Lopers in year 2 are definitely a better product, but there's a lot still left that we can continue to get better, obviously with the big game this week against Emporia.
How about the Hornets? They roll in here 6-1. They had a bye week. The only team in conference action to really slow them down was a loss against Northwest Missouri. I'm sure you've spent some time, especially your defensive coaches, looking at that one. But what's your take on this team that comes in here?
Well, they give up 18.5 a game, I think, on defense. So their defense has played well. They get a lot of turnovers. Speaking of that Northwest game, I don't know how many Northwest had, but it was 6 or 7 or something like that. The whole game was just crazy, but they do a really good job getting turnovers, and they've gotten 5 in the red zone, I think, as well. So anytime you're getting that kind of production and turnovers, that's huge. They're sound, they tackle well, they play hard on defense. So we got our work cut out for us offensively. Coach Higgins has really kind of mastered a spread, go fast type of offense, and they get balls in little nooks and crannies and motion to get a guy in a little spot, and the quarterback has the timing of it and rips it in there and 7 yards. Now you're 2nd and 3, and those are like run plays because it's not like they rely on the run. They keep you honest with it, but they're going to do different formations, and their quarterback gets the ball out quick. So we got a great challenge there. Special teams, we've done a good job at certain times, but we definitely need to get a little bit better in our coverage units. We've given up a few there that has hurt us field position wise. So we've got to tighten that up this week and play a full 60 minutes. It's a game that, they're going to come up. They had an off week, so they'll have some new wrinkles, I'm sure, but they're going to do what they do, and they're going to play hard. And so we got our work cut out for us.
If folks don't know, they have two quarterbacks. One of them is kind of college football royalty. Gunnar Gundy is his name. He's the son of Oklahoma State former star and coach of Mike Gundy. That's kind of different.
Yeah. He's a really good player. He's a lefty, and, he was a very successful high school kid. And obviously he's got a lot of resources with his dad and been around football his whole life. So, he gets it. He's a really good football player. And then their backup's really good. He's done a lot of good things. So, in this league, you better have two. You can't have one. Heck, Missouri Western had three. Their guy last week was their third guy and did really well. This league is so well coached, and they do what they do. Garen's done that and evolved into a very successful coach in the MIAA. I've known him for years. Him and I coached against each other back in 01 for the old Peru State Bobcats. So when he was at Northwest Oklahoma, and they were good. So I mean, they're good at what they do. They know what they are. They don't try to be somebody they aren't, and you got to go and you got to stop them because they lull you to sleep. They'll go dink, 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 and then boom, right over your head when you sit on it. They got really good receivers, really good skill guys. But I know our guys will be excited. I mean, we're 4-3, and I mean, who knows? This is a big game. We are battle tested. We played against good football teams up to this point, so I know our guys will be ready to go on Saturday. Should be a good weather game. Last year we played down there was about as miserable as I've experienced. I mean, that just was not good. And we got up on them, and then we just fell apart. So I think the weather will be better for us, maybe a little bit windy, but we'll take 65 and sunny instead of 37 and windy and rain.
How big of a help is it? They're going to run a race car style offense, a NASCAR offense they're going to throw out there. How big of a help is it for you that you've already seen this a couple of times this year?
Well, yeah, I mean, we definitely, when you've gone against that type of offense, it's important. We run that at times. We can simulate that within what we do and play as fast as anybody. And so our defense will be, they'll be prepared for it. It's just a matter of you have to be physical and not let the receivers just have free releases. You got to tackle well in space because they're going to dink it and get it. If it's 5 yards, then it better be 5.5. It can't be 8 from a 5-yard gain. And you got to put them in third and long. You got to stop the run. You got to make them one-dimensional. And then you got to get some turnovers. I mean, in this, again, we fumbled it the first play of the game last week, but then we didn't really turn it over, right? We went for it on a couple fourths. I was fairly aggressive, but we didn't turn the ball over. And that's again what's just given us opportunities. Because I still, and you got the stats. I mean, I think we're still +9 when you look at it because we got a turnover against them.
Well, you've kind of figured out a style that works for you this year, and you've been able to keep games close into the fourth quarter, and it kind of looks like that's kind of your mark this year.
Yeah, we talk about it. We got to get to the game to the fourth quarter and give ourselves a chance to win it, and that's what we've done, and I don't see any different this week. But we got to have a great week of practice. It starts today. I mean, we're getting to a point where we're understanding what needs to be done, but we also have to continue to work on technique and fundamentals. And we only had 5 penalties last week, which was big. We cut that in half, which we've been a very high penalized team. We're the worst penalized team in the league, so that was good to fix that a little bit. but we're definitely not a finished product. I still, Jason, don't think we have played a complete game, and I think it's in us. And I think if we can play one, when we play one, it'll look out because we can really, I think, be a good football team.
All right. Can't wait to see it. Ryan, as always, we appreciate the time.
Thanks, Jason.
That was Loper head coach Ryan Held. His thoughts on the Loper football show. Once again, UNK, big game against another ranked opponent this Saturday at 2. We'll have the game for you in 93.1 The River and 106.9 in Kearney. I'm Jason Jorgensen.